Is your business plateaued? Are you struggling to go to the next level? Are things just not being done and things are being missed? If that is the case, then maybe this is what you need to be hearing, because we as business owners, owner managers, wear three different hats. And what I see a lot in business is that the owner manager gets stuck doing one or two things, but not some of the other stuff. So let me explain at the high level. So as an owner manager in a business, in a professional service business, you have three core hats, three main hats you wear. So you put on the one hat and you are in charge of the client work. If you're in product business, it's client work, product work, same sort of thing. But you're in charge of the work. Now, if you're in a small business, you're doing the work. If you have a bigger team, they're doing the work, but ultimately you are responsible. You are in charge of admin and operations. That's just running the business internally, the finance and just the standard operations of the business, paying for things, getting things in, the services, all of that sort of stuff. You're in charge of it. Ultimately, you may have a team of people working on it, but you are responsible. And marketing and sales, bringing in the business, getting in front of clients, converting them. You are ultimately responsible, even if you have sales or marketing people. It rises to you. So if you are not dividing up your time between each one of those functions, then you are likely missing something. So you could do great work, but have bad systems, or you could be bringing in a lot of prospects, but not converting them. So that could be you, could be your team. So it's important to understand that you have a certain finite amount of time you can give to the business. So you may be one of those people who works 100 hours a week if you could. But for the majority of people, we have other commitments. You want to go to the gym, you want to see your friends, you want to see your family. So what I say to people is carve up your diary like that. Get a calendar and go through it and go, okay, these are the non-movables. This is the time with my children. This is the time with my partner. This is the time I'm doing the charity work, or I'm running, or I'm whatever it is for your personal health and your mental well-being and all that sort of stuff. You've got to do those things. What's the remaining amount of time? When you consider that a remaining amount of time, it's a set number of hours. And then you can look at each one of those functions and go, okay, so realistically, how much time should I give to those functions? And then look at it from a different perspective. What percentage of my time should I give to those functions? So if you're growing a business, you need a higher percentage on marketing and sales. But people often let that kind of slide because they're too busy doing the client work or fiddling around with the systems to make them perfect. You've got to have systems that work. They don't need to be perfect. You need to have systems that work and can be adapted and improved. You need to be able to do the client work and factor in enough time for that. But you need to be bringing in people, new clients. You need to be doing the marketing. So what percentage? Now, the percentage thing gets people a little more honest. So a lot of people will be thinking, well, I'll spend a couple of hours a week on marketing. But the reality is that you should be spending a higher percentage of your time. If you're just starting out, 75% of your time should go into your marketing. If you have a number of clients and you're growing your business, maybe it should be 25% of your time. But when you look at it from the perspective of a percentage and you realize that 25% of your time is way more than the number of hours you were considering, then you start to look at it and go, well, actually, I need to carve out that time. I need to carve out 25% of my time realistically to continue to grow this business. How do I do that? And you might be thinking, well, my systems are okay. It doesn't really matter. But those are impacting your staff. They're impacting you. They're impacting your clients. They're impacting somebody if your systems don't work. It could be that you don't have control of your finances. You don't have a cash management system in place. So it's like, hey, what's the tax bill? Oh, my God. You can be freaking out at that point. So if you have dedicated time each week, you can turn up and do the client work. You can turn up and do the work, internal systems, working on the business. You can do the marketing. You can do the sales. You can have the follow-ups. You can start to carve up your time based on percentages. It keeps you more honest because it makes you go, actually, I've got 4 hours, 5 hours a week that I need to fill with marketing. Then you can start to plan it in advance. You can think, okay, well, next week, these are the things that have been sitting around for ages. I need to update the website. I need to update all the bios. I need to get a link into my bio. I need to create some content. I need to just engage with people on LinkedIn. There's a number of things you could be doing, and that's just marketing as an example. Whereas for most people, we kind of turn up and go, oh, okay, what am I doing today? What am I doing this week? Unless you already have something calling your name, you just kind of turn up. And that's why marketing doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen consistently. That's why internal systems don't get improved and things don't necessarily work. Or you could be spending too much time on that stuff and you're not getting the client work done, which is why you work until midnight and you're stressed out and not getting any holidays. So what's the point? You wear 3 hats. If you divide up your time into percentages and then you look at the time and then you plan ahead, what it will do is to give you a true sense of how much time you should be spending on each section, each hat, and then you can start to look to fill that time. It takes a little while to get used to this system, but it actually works. So what I say to people is put it in place, test it for 2 weeks, adjust as you need to, test it for another 2 weeks, adjust as you need to. Stuff comes along and blows up in your face and everything goes wrong because something happens with a client or a system breaks or the internet goes down. Then you deal with that and you go back to the system and you just keep going back to the system because it will get you there. It will mean you're working in the business and on the business and you will make improvements. Hopefully that makes sense. If it does, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.